Um, there are a lot of people who was waiting for me to go live. They were waiting on me to go live about this. I decided to try to find out some more information before I open my mouth because, that's what you're supposed to do. Dealing with a situation such as this. Um, this is an unusual situation. It's very sad, very tragic in a lot of ways. This is something that most people would never want to wake up to this type of news. This is god awful. And for Savannah and everyone involved who's related to him, who really cares about him and his well being, my prayers go out to them. But I had to try to find out what was happening. So I wanted to contact some coaches who actually are in AAU, um, people that know the Ball family, LeVar Ball, and they work with them. And they work at, they do, not at USC, but UCLA. They do workouts over there, but they still have the same people around. So I would contact them to try to get to the news, to find out what's really going on over there and what really happened. So I was up pretty early before we got the news. Um, People were talking, and allegedly, it started out another day, nothing particular. He's going through a workout, wasn't strenuous or anything. He didn't look like, from what they told me, it didn't look like he went through a lot, like during the workout. It wasn't like there was 50, 60,000 cameras there waiting on him to come to work out. It was just like an average workout day. And they said the kid just collapsed. It wasn't like, it was non-contact and just a workout, and it's nothing, like they worked him to death or anything like that. He just a regular workout, and he just collapsed. So my heart goes out to Savannah and her children, the mom, my heart goes out to them. The world, it's not everybody's business about an 18-year-old's personal condition, but he's not the average 18-year-old. He's Bronny James, the son of LeBron James. And actually, his name is LeBron James Jr. That is his name by birth. So LeBron James Jr., who is the son of LeBron, goes by the name of Bronny. And why does he go by the name of Bronny? Because he didn't like the pressure of everybody calling him LeBron and LeBron James. Oh, you LeBron's son, bro. So he started going by the name Bronny, which was his nickname, because he couldn't deal with the pressures of being LeBron James Jr. And LeBron apologized for naming him LeBron James Jr. He didn't think at that time when he was born about what effects that would have on his life as LeBron grew in popularity. But he said he couldn't even foresee him being where at the level he is right now. He was like, I had him, I was 18, 19 years old. You know, I didn't know pretty much what I was doing or anything. I just had to figure it out. But this is the kind of things that I say my heart goes out to Savannah and her family and uh, Bronny's brothers and sisters. But my heart does not go out to LeBron James. My heart don't go out to you, LeBron. My heart does not go out to you. Because I'm pissed. I'm a little pissed off with you over this situation. We praying for Bronny and we praying for everyone else in the family, but I'm not praying for you, LeBron. Your ego and your vanity and all, you were pushing that boy too hard. You putting a lot of pressure on his back. I'm gonna play with Bronny, get to the league. I'm gonna Bronny coming to the league. You have been promoting and pushing this kid who's not even NBA ready. You, instead of letting him enjoy his life, you're putting so much pressure on his back, jumping in his layup lines, doing all of these things, and taking his moments away that he's supposed to be having on his own. You're hijacking those for your own ego. And who knows what he was doing or might have been doing, working and stressing himself for something like this to happen. The pressures of, I got to get better. I can't fail. Yeah, you cast a big shadow, buddy. So you're going to have to sit on this one. I'm not giving you a pass on this. This is all on you. This is all on you. We pray for Bronny. We want Bronny to get well. But I'm mad at LeBron, the father, over this situation. He know he's been pressuring that kid and pushing him to try to get to the NBA and get better. Who knows what he's been doing? So as I pray for the rest of the family, I always got a side eye at you, Bron, on this situation, because I always felt you was doing this before this actually happened. You're putting a lot of pressure on Bronny. You put a lot of stress on that kid. And from a kid who changed his name from LeBron James Jr. to Bronny because he didn't want that kind of pressure. That was your signal to take your foot off of the gas and take it slow with him. But no, you keep adding more pressure and more stress. Now he's going to be thinking, what if he don't make it to the NBA? It's a lot of things that go on in a child's mind. You don't know what actually could have happened. Now, let's let the test happen. Hopefully, he's, from what happened, he's out of ICU, thank God. He's in stable condition now and he's resting. And I know LeBron right now is feeling real sad and real sorry about everything that went on. But to sit there and thinking that I'm going to sit here and exonerate him just like that, like he hasn't been going around here putting all this pressure on Bronny, I'm just going to ignore that. An 18-year-old kid having cardiac arrest. I can't let it go, y'all. I couldn't. I couldn't bite my tongue on this and sit here and lie and sit there and say I don't blame LeBron for all the pressure he put on Bronny. I said this in other videos. He's already been putting too much pressure on Bronny. The kid is not NBA ready, and you keep trying to promote him going to the league. Got your media team promoting him going, and knowing everybody's gonna be waiting on him to fail. He's an 18-year-old kid, and you're putting all that pressure on him like the same way. Well, you ain't have it as bad as he's gonna have it because social media wasn't like it is right now. All these kids live through social media. So what if he don't perform well? Then what? You never know what kind of stress and pressure you're putting on a kid. So sometimes you might need to just back off and let him go through it the way he needs to go through it. Take your hands off the reins a little bit. That's the best advice I could give to LeBron James right now in this situation. That's real talk. He don't need somebody to pat him on the back and keep saying, "Oh, I'm gonna just sit here and no." He needs to be told the truth. Somebody needs to tell LeBron the truth. Somebody that really cares about the child's life needs to tell him. Take your hands off the reins. You're pushing too hard. Let him be a young boy. You know, if he don't make it, so what? The NBA ain't the end of the world. So my prayers go out to Savannah, the children, Bron's mom, and all of his uncles, his aunties. My prayers go out to them. Prayers go out to Bronny James, LeBron James Jr. Well, Shelly, if she told him that, then that's good, because that's what he needs to be told. He needs to be told to let go of them reins. Let Bronny, he hit or miss. Let him go through his progression and recover. First thing, let's focus on recovery. Let's not even think about basketball. Let him recover and be in good health. That's what's important. And that's real talk. But I'm not going to sit here and exonerate LeBron James for saying he has no involvement in this kid having a cardiac arrest at 18, when we know we've been sitting here watching this man put all the pressure on his back for the last four years. God bless LeBron's family. Yes. Definitely God bless LeBron's family. I have no respect for LeBron. None. It's too soon to say. It's not too soon. Didn't I tell you about all the pressure he was putting on him in videos in the past? Didn't I say, Bronny's not even NBA ready? Why are you putting all this pressure on your son? saying I'm gonna play on the team he go to, and the team that get him, that's where I'm going. I'm not retiring until I play with Bronny in the league. You're putting so much pressure on this kid's back to make it to the NBA. Now he's trying to be everything that you keep saying like he is. And everybody wants to turn a blind eye to this as having an effect or a cause as to what just happened with an 18-year-old suffering cardiac arrest in a regular workout. Dude, quit making this about me and LeBron. It's not about me and LeBron. Listen to what I'm saying about the situation. It's not about me versus LeBron. This is not about that. This is about Bronny, his son. If this was any other person that you didn't love and you saw this situation happen, you mean to tell me you wouldn't look at the person that's been driving him and said, man, if you seen an 18-year-old kid go through cardiac arrest and the person, his father, who's been driving him like a workhorse to try to get to the level he's at, you mean to tell me you don't think that's a cause? That don't play a part? The pressure because of who his father is? What if I'm wrong about LeBron James putting pressure on Bronny James? Are you serious right now? If today's incident or this tragic incident didn't happen, if this incident did not go down and did not happen, right? Let's say this incident didn't happen. Did I not say in the past and on past videos how LeBron is putting too much pressure on Bronny? So if I've already stated that he's putting too much pressure on Bronny and using his media team over at ESPN, who keeps promoting Bronny as like the next thing next to his father and all of these different things, and you keep promoting that and putting pressure on a 17, 18-year-old kid with today's technology and media, what was going to happen? You never know what's going through a child's mind at 17 and 18, all the pressures that's going in. But when you're blinded by your vanity and your ego, like LeBron, who keeps pushing, what other parent you know jump into the layup line of his son's basketball team? What other parent is involved the way he was? He was overbearing. This is what we've been saying all of this time before this incident even happened. So why would I change it now and think it doesn't affect or have something to do? In my belief, this has a lot to do. This is a stress-related situation, I believe. I'm not a doctor. Now somebody want to say he took the jab. I don't know about that with the 18-year-olds getting shots and all that. I don't know. That's not. You could disagree with me. Your fandom of LeBron is why you feel that way. But you haven't been following the situation then. Of course you don't. You're blinded by fandom. So no matter what happens, what the superstar does, you will say you're a fan of him, so he gets a pass. When any other person, you would have held their feet to the fire. I get it. I'm not saying Bronny James is juicing. I don't know. People do things under pressure you don't even know. You heard the reports that K.O. Sonnen said about Lebron and how he was allegedly taking shortcuts. That came out of K.O. Sonnen's mouth. That EPO statement came out of his mouth. I don't know. I'm not going to insinuate anything about any type of drugs with him, but I wouldn't rule anything out. I wouldn't rule anything out at this point. But I'm not going to insinuate that's what it is, but I know stress was definitely, pressure and stress was definitely applied by the father. That happened. That's not an illusion. That's not me just pulling something out of the air. We've watched for the last 4 years how much pressure LeBron was putting on his son. Now you're gonna sit here in this chat and tell me LeBron James wasn't putting pressure on Bronny? How many in here are gonna sit here and tell me that LeBron was not putting pressure on Bronny? I'm gonna see how many people in this chat. What parents don't put pressure? This is not your mom and dad. Okay, when your mom and dad walk outside, it's not going to be cameras and media out there trying to interview them. Okay, your mom and dad aren't considered one of the best players to ever play the game of basketball. Right? You keep saying Bronny wants to be like his father. That's what everybody assumes. But when he was born LeBron James Jr., Bronny wanted his name changed to Bronny James and not to be called LeBron James Jr. Did you know that? So that tells me he doesn't want to be like his father. He wants to be himself. He wants to be Bronny. Doesn't want to be LeBron James Jr. Why would you think ESPN would cover a high school student as much as they did Bronny James? The number one ranked player in high school never got the media attention that Bronny James got. All I'm alluding to is the pressures LeBron was putting on Bronny. But I felt he put a lot of pressure on Bronny. And I still feel that way. So yeah, I'm a little upset with him over the situation. Of course I want Bronny to be well. I want him to be okay. My heart goes out to Savannah, those kids who had to witness that, and who's probably right now, praying and just really hurt by everything that's going on. And I know LeBron is hurt. He's hurt right now. But I know how much pressure he put on Bronny, because I was watching it for the last 4 years. So I'm not going to sit here and ignore that. I'm sorry, I'm not. It's not hating on LeBron. This is brute honesty. It's honesty, bro. For real. You can't sit here and say, yeah, Outlaw, you a regular here, so you already know it was a live stream. And I talked about the pressure LeBron's putting on Bronny. And having all this media writing all these articles about him, and he's not ready for the NBA. He's not. That's why he didn't enter the draft. And he went to college. They want to give him 1 year of college, some development, because he needs some development. And now you got all this pressure on him to try to make the league, and he's probably pushing himself too hard. You don't know. Look who his father is. No, I definitely said a prayer this morning for Bronny and Savannah and his family. LeBron's name was not in my prayer that I said for Bronny. He had nothing to do with it. He was kept out of it. I prayed for every member of that family except for him. Yeah, we're rooting for Bronny to be well. We want him to be well, and absolutely, I don't. My prayers is for the person that need the prayers. LeBron needs to hold this one until he find out what's going on with his son, and take the hands off the reins a little bit from pushing him so hard. Stop saying I want to play with Bronny and I'm whatever team Bronny to. That's the team I'm going to. Trying to force teams to pick Bronny. He's doing too much as a parent. That's too much pressure that you're applying. Cino, he put too much pressure on these kids. Of course. Yes, his son is hurt. And I know LeBron is hurting. But to act like he did not apply stress to that boy, that 18-year-old kid, is, I would be sitting here lying to you. If I would sit here and did this whole video and just talked about the prayers and hoping Bronny get better and not sit there and tell you that, I would be doing a disservice. I would be doing a disservice. ESPN, all these other sports shows, they're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to tell you that big elephant in the room that LeBron James did add stress to that young man. Music City P, did you just say, come on, Cino, pressure causing a heart attack? You should go do some homework. You should go and, this summer, go read a book about heart attacks and cardiac arrest. Stress is one of the number one leading factors when it comes to that, sir. Slevin, we're not going to insinuate that this man is taking steroids or taking shortcuts or EPO. We're not going to say that about an 18-year-old kid unless they prove that. We don't say that. Not at all. What do you disagree with, Jamil? You're right, there are many factors. But stress and putting pressure on people, you don't think he's under a lot of pressure? You don't think Bronny James under a lot of pressure? I'm waiting for Jamil's statement. Jamil says he disagrees. I want to know what he disagrees about. I'm saying he's played a huge part in this, I believe. In my belief, LeBron James put a lot of stress on Bronny, a lot of pressure on Bronny. Yes, I do believe that is a contributing factor to a cardiac arrest of a child that is 18 years old. What pressure? He's rich. He's not rich. LeBron James Sr. is rich. He wants the best for his kids. Everybody could want the best for their child. And there's a lot of parents that put a lot of stress on their children as we speak. But this is a whole different type of situation, isn't it? That he doesn't just have a regular mother and father. His father's going to be on the cover of every newspaper in the world whenever he do something. His father is, by what they claim, is the best player to ever play the game of basketball. He's a celebrity. And if his dad is doing something, it affects him. And once again, I will state, his name is LeBron James Jr. He wanted his name changed from LeBron James Jr. to Bronny. The reason you call him Bronny now is because that's the name he wants to go by. His birth name is LeBron James Jr. He doesn't want to be called LeBron Jr. He wants to be called Bronny. He wants his own life. He wants to do his own thing. And that is definitely, I'm saying it plays a part. There could be a lot of contributing factors. We don't know yet. But to say that adding stress to an 18, 19-year-old kid, you're saying that's a good thing? Outlaw went and found the video. He said the video is LeBron James just can't control his ego. That was the video. So if I was saying it back then, why am I not going to say it now? Nobody's going to tell y'all the truth. Everybody going to give you smoke and mirrors and just say, oh, I hope and pray for Bronny and his family. And that's it. I'm just glad he's out of ICU. He's in stable condition and he's recovered. Eddie, I'm not worried about his name being LeBron and Bronny. He was worried about his name. Jamil, he's not a rich kid, okay? His father is rich. He has access to money, but he's not a trust fund kid. Bron don't treat his children like that. They want their own life and everything else, but to bring them up in basketball, as you saw in the movie Space Jam 2, starring and produced by LeBron James, right? What was the situation in there? He was pushing his son, all of his sons, to be in basketball. And he was pushing the son too hard. His son wanted to do something else. He didn't want to just do basketball. He didn't even know if he wanted to play basketball, right? Wasn't that the storyline? Doesn't it sound quite familiar to you? Doesn't that sound familiar? It's a movie. And you don't think that's reflecting real life. If you watch the documentary, he was saying this happened in real life with him and his sons. That's why it's in the movie. Mm-hmm. People don't like to hear the truth. I know they don't. It's a it's a reality that sometimes you cast too big of a shadow. You are not just a regular father. That's not the case here. You're not a regular father. No, he's not a regular father. He's LeBron James. And your sons coming up, you're gonna have to not put so much pressure on them because the world is already gonna put pressure on them. Nobody needs you throwing gas on the flame. And his ego couldn't help it. He's all in the on the layup line. Yeah, come on. Ah. You doing all of this extra stuff. Yeah, Bronny is he got ESPN, his people on ESPN writing about Bronny James and doing segments on Bronny. It's it is ego driven. I don't know how anybody who's a fan of LeBron cannot think he was doing and overstepped way too many boundaries with his son coming up. He was doing way too much. Do you think his son could have chose golf? You think Bronny would have just said, hey man, I want to play golf? That was going to be okay with Bron? You don't think he had any influence on his son wanting to play basketball? Knowing how LeBron is, jumping in the layup lines with his son, traveling with the team, dunking. Yeah, I'm gonna be at Bronny's game. Yeah, come on, Bronny. I'm a good supportive dad. Support from the stands, bruh. Support from the stands. You don't need to be on the court. You don't need to be over there with the coaches. Go in the stands. Support your son like that. See, the prime example of this is Michael Jordan. Both of his sons played basketball in high school. And they went to college and played basketball. Did you see Michael Jordan down on the court in the layup line? Did you see Michael Jordan down there making it about him, getting autographs? Michael Jordan sat all the way in the back so that all the people in there could be in front of him. Him and his wife, Juanita, sat in the back and watched their boys play basketball. He didn't say nothing. He cheered when it was something that they did that was great. And they both was on the same team. He cheered. But he did not intervene. He did not do anything that would put pressure on them going to the NBA or anything else. He never did that. He stepped out of it. They wanted to play ball until it was out of their system, and the media wasn't writing about them like that. There was no pressure, extra pressure put on Jordan's sons like it was put on Bronny James. You're right, two different type of men. One is not ego-driven to understand the pressures. One understood the pressures and the dangers of putting that on their children. And that's what Michael Jordan said. He said, I know who I am in the world. So if I was to go down there, sit by them, by their bench, start clapping and doing all this, the media is going to make a big deal of it. And they're going to put all this pressure on them. And it's about me and not about them. And then I'm robbing them of their experience. It's their time. It's their moments with their friends. I don't need to be in the room. Come on, boy, guys, look what we doing. We going for ice cream? Come on, Bronny, yeah. Woo, we got a good win today. Yeah, let's celebrate. It's like, dude, You've had your run. You had your high school moment. Okay? I know he probably thinks that's being a good dad. That's an overbearing father. Pull back. Let him have his moments with his friends. Let him have his time with his friends. And that's for all you fathers out there. Don't be the overbearing father. I know you live in your second childhood, you living vicariously through your children, but let them like do that from watching. Don't put too much pressure on them. Let them find out what they want to do. You can help. You can give them advice. But saying, hey, I can't make you get up at 6 in the morning and go do this. That's going to be on you. You're going to have to wake yourself up. You got to want to do it. Now, if you don't want to do it and you feel like it's something else you want to do, that's fine. You got time to figure it out. But you got to figure it out. I'm not saying LeBron James is a bad father. I'm saying the pressure he put on Bronny, we all saw it on display fully. How could you sit there and say it didn't happen? And this is for the past 4 years he's been doing this. So for the past 4 years, we've been seeing nothing but what's going to happen with Bronny when he goes to the NBA. What number would he be drafted? What number? They're putting all of this pressure on this kid to go to the NBA. And this is a kid who already changed his name from LeBron James Jr. to Bronny because he wanted to be his own person. Bron said, I apologize for naming him LeBron James Jr. I had no idea that when I got this popular, what it would be. So they've already had this conversation. I'm not imagining things. LeBron already had this conversation with Bronny. So everything that I have laid out for you and told you is documented facts. So if you know LeBron James Jr. one of his name changed to Bronny, which was his nickname, Bronny James, so that people wouldn't call him LeBron James Jr. because he didn't want that pressure. Why are you applying pressure every time this guy's name is mentioned? And I know people that know Bronny James. Bronny James is nothing like LeBron James. Let me tell you that right now. They are two polar opposite people. Bronny James has no ego whatsoever. That 18-year-old kid has no ego whatsoever. One of the nicest human beings you could ever meet is Bronny James. Yeah, I know people that know him. They played AAU tournaments, everything. The coaches that was LeVar Ball, his sons, coaches, and all that, they played on AAU teams, everything. Bronny is same way he's always been. He's laid back, he doesn't really, he talks, but not too much. But he's just a kid. He's a nice kid, a very nice person. There's nothing wrong with Bronny James. Listen to what Leon said. He said, my children are excellent athletes, but mom and I allow them to be whatever they want to be. All four graduated from college, doing well in life. That's what I'm talking about, Leon. And thanks for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. Now he understands. That's a father that understands exactly what I'm talking about. So if I'm sitting here and telling you that LeBron put a lot of stress on Bronny, I've said this in the past, just about 2 months ago. And then you see Bronny James has a cardiac arrest at 18 years old, and I'm supposed to ignore the fact of all the stress that was put on him by LeBron? Well, I don't have time to cap. I just tell it like it is. Y'all think it's hate on LeBron. It's not hate on LeBron. It's pointing out the same factors of why we didn't like him as a player. It's the same. It's the ego. His ego gets involved and it goes way beyond the bounds. He doesn't even see it. He don't believe he's pushing Bronny too much or too involved. He's saying he's in the layup line with his son because he just wants to share this moment with his sons. But it's like other people had said that when he was in that layup line, like, oh, wait a minute, this is a bit too far, LeBron. Now, what if other parents decide they want to get in the layup line with their sons? It's like you're doing too much. People are going to be split because of their fandom for LeBron. They're going to turn a blind eye to the fact that he put a lot of stress on Bronny. They're going to turn a blind eye to that. No, it's not a hater. It's called facts. Why do you keep saying I'm a hater and ignoring what I've just said? Do you think that's normal for a father to do what he was doing? You don't think that adds a lot of pressure on a son who changed his name from LeBron James Jr. to Bronny because he didn't want to be known as LeBron James Jr.? That don't tell you something? This is facts, people. That's not an opinion. Him changing his name to LeBron James Jr. is not an opinion. LeBron James sitting there got ESPN writing these puff pieces, people that work for Clutch Sports, LeBron James agency that he signed to, those media guys is on ESPN making pieces about Bronny James on ESPN for the last 4 years. And he's not the number one ranked high school player. The number one ranked high school player did not get that attention. LeBron casts a big shadow because of who he is as a player. That comes with that territory that you have to really pull back because you're going to cause more pressure to be put on your children. Especially when they're too young. I blame LeBron for putting extra stress on Bronny. Absolutely, because we witnessed that. That's a fact. When the father goes out and jumps in the kid's layup line, you're adding more attention, more stress to your child. This is a 16, 17-year-old kid when he was doing that. He's 18 now. This guy saying, I'm playing on the team that my son go to. When my son goes to whatever team drafts my son, I'm going to play on that team. Now you're forcing teams to draft your son to have you on that team. You're basically using an extortion plan to say, whoever drafts my son, that's the team I'm going to get. So you better draft my son. It's not that he's ready for it in this moment in time, and I don't think he's ready for it. And this is what we were saying back then. He's not ready. So he went to USC. He's doing his workouts, trying to get better, and he ended up collapsing. And he was in ICU, suffered a cardiac arrest, and right now he's in stable condition. And I pray for Savannah. That is a nightmare for a mother and her children, her family. And I know LeBron is hurt too. I'm not saying he don't care. He right now he knows. He knows what I'm saying. Well, y'all sitting there defending him, he know what I'm saying. He's hurt right now because he knows he was applying a lot of pressure to Bronny. Follow the bouncing blue cap. You're acting like I said stress is what caused it. Listen what I'm telling you. Follow the bouncing blue cap so you can understand what I'm actually saying out of my mouth so you can process it in your brain as what I said. LeBron James added additional stress to Bronny James. He applied stress to LeBron James Jr., his son, Bronny James. Okay? Not that stress is 100% the factor of him having a cardiac arrest. Never said that. I said if you believe stress does not cause a factor of causing a cardiac arrest, then you were wrong. You were mistaken. He applied a lot of pressure to Bronny James and brought a lot of stress. This is what I believe. If you don't believe LeBron James has applied a lot of pressure and stress to Bronny James, that is your opinion. But yes, stress is a killer. And for an 18-year-old child to have a cardiac arrest, there are some very serious factors that probably came to play. Stress cannot be ruled out as one of those factors. So do we have it now? I don't know if he has CHD. Zoe Jax, you might English might not be your first language. No one over here said it's 100% a factor that it caused a cardiac arrest. I'm saying it's 100% fact. LeBron James put stress on Bronny. Okay, now put that in there. I'm saying it's 100%. He applied a lot of stress to Bronny. Everyone has stress. An 18-year-old kid shouldn't be having that kind of stress on his back. Not the stress that he was putting on him. LeBron James Jr., Bronny James, took one puff of weed and it was on TMZ. Yes, he's out of ICU. He's in stable condition right now. He was that before I started the video. Yes, prayers definitely for Bronny. I don't feel bad for LeBron. I feel bad for Savannah, Bronny, those children, and the rest of the family. I don't feel bad for LeBron. I don't feel bad for him because I felt he applied. He's played a part into this happening by applying stress on Bronny James. Too much pressure, applying too much pressure on Bronny James. Right? All the extra pressure and stress I believe he put on Bronny James. Slevin, it's not about handling stress. It's just the amount of pressure you could put on somebody that brings upon stress. He casts a. Don't you think LeBron casts a big shadow? Yeah, right now things are going to change when it comes to the approach of Bronny and everything. But let's not even look into his basketball future right now. That's the focus is his health. Let's keep it there. Everybody's going to be looking for the calls now because of all the pressure LeBron has put on him. Every media outlet in the world is covering this. Instead of letting the family grieve, they're now going to be digging into hospitals, and TMZ is going to be trying to find the medical report first to find out what's going on with Bronny James. And whatever that is, I'm here to let you know right away, it will be covered up. You're never going to hear the real story of what caused it. This happened at a university. You're not going to hear it. He's an 18-year-old kid, so his medical reasoning and all of this stuff is not going to pop up. You're only going to get something provided to you. Yes, I said a prayer for Bronny this morning when I woke up. I did not go live right away. Have you noticed that? I did not go live. Like I told you, I don't care about being first. I want to be right. So I got up this morning and my phone, as you can imagine, was blown up. Completely blowing up. And I said, let me say a prayer for him because he was in ICU at the time. And I prayed for him to have a recovery. I prayed for his family, Savannah. I prayed for every member of that family except for LeBron James. His name did not come up in my prayer one time. And as soon as I was done praying, I got on the phone, made some calls out to California to find out what was going on with, like, what really happened with people that actually know him, actually coaches and people in AAU, people that know the Ball family. They coached with LeVar Ball out there at his schools, and they are over at UCLA now, right now, running camps and doing everything. So I said, well, let me call in to him and find out if they know anything. And from what they got from their information was that he did collapse. He suffered a mild cardiac arrest, but it was nothing like additional work he was doing, like he showed signs. They just said it was a regular workout, and he just collapsed. There was nothing extra. Really was mild, wasn't like he was like running real hard and just going through a regular workout. Like they was stunned. Like, but the response team was there right away. They got him right to the top doctors in the world. So thank the medical staff. Thank the medical staff that was quick, that was on the scene, that helped Bronny immediately and got him the help he needed as he was taken to a hospital. And that's the important part. Make sure it's not about basketball right now. It's not about NBA, where is he going in the draft. It's not about basketball. It's about recovery. No, since the day he was born, LeBron James Jr. Let me give you this question. Is there a lot of pressure on Bryce? It's not a lot of pressure on Bryce, is it? All the pressure was more on Bronny than it is Bryce. Bryce barely gets written about. It's barely any mention of Bryce. And that's good. That is good. That is good for Bryce. It's good for his growth. Let him grow with his friends and do the things that he want to do. You don't need to write about Bryce all the time. He's a high school kid. If he does have a big breakout game, you can give him a good article on it. But LeBron don't need to cast his shadow over Bryce. Go to his games, just sit in the back, watch the games, leave, don't even comment on the games. Just say, hey, he had a good game, proud. That's it. You could be proud of your son and not have to make it a spectacle for the rest of the world. Let him have his moments. Let him have his growth moments. Don't you cast a big shadow. Let them live their lives. Yeah, my prayers go out to Savannah and those children and the family. That's right. Yeah, like I told y'all before, like I told you guys before, this is a individual who is this is an individual and Bronny, who's a very everybody who's met him said one thing about him is that he's incredible as a person. He's nothing like his father. Nothing like his father. Completely different individual, polite, nice, like he said, well spoken. Never heard anything. You know, a lot of people they be like trying to say that because it's Bron's his father, but no, these are from people I know who like was his teammates, his coaches, that's out there in California that played, in the AAU tournaments with him. Said no, he's a nice kid, like like totally not like LeBron was. LeBron was rough, That Bronny's not. He wasn't as you know Right. No one's saying LeBron James is a bad father. I want to say that right now, make that clear. I never said LeBron James is a bad father. I'm just saying that he put a lot of pressure on Bronny James. He put a lot of pressure on him by doing the acts that he was doing, his ego, running out there with Bronny all the time. And he's just put a lot of stress, I felt, on that young boy. Put a lot of stress on. Doesn't mean he doesn't love his son. I know he's hurting. I'm not gonna say he don't love his children because he did. No, he wants Bronny to be the best in the world and want to push him to get there. And he got all these people working with him. He had Gil working with his son, do a couple workouts or whatever. So it's to see where Bronny was at. It's sometimes you can be doing too much. If he doesn't make it to the NBA, it's fine. Well, sometimes a kid has to know it's fine if they don't make it to the NBA. A kid has to know it's fine if you know, go a different route in life. You know, it's like, look, Michael Jordan's sons, they weren't going to make it to the NBA. It's fine. You can end up with Lars or Pippen. Let me stop. Um, no, you could definitely end up in a situation where no, no. I believe Bronny will be fine, but his health is more important. He's going to need a lot of rest. Um, but they're going to have to change the way they go about doing things, I believe. So now, well, it's a bit different. People got to understand that when you talk about like the scenarios of what they want and how they want to do something, it's all it's all continuous. It's like a oh wow, well, how do you put pressure on it? I've seen parents put pressure on their kids, and they weren't famous as LeBron James, and they caused their kids to quit the sport that they actually was playing. They just quit, said, "I'm not playing again." Father got too involved and was actually living his childhood through his son, who he kept pushing to be great. And the son was like, I love the game, but just because I make a mistake, you're on my neck. Like, it's just was too much for him to take. And the son's like, you know what, the hell with it. I'm out. I'm not going to go through this. Like, I quit. I'd rather not play a sport and I don't have to hear this anymore. So he never played again, and he was great. I mean, somebody who was, we're talking about probably one of the top 50 in the state and just quit. Just flat quit and never play again. Never played the sport another day. That's how much pressure and stuff you could be putting on your child. Same child ended up getting older and rebelling against the father because the father was like, I don't want nothing to do with you. Because of that, all the training, all the hours I was driving you to those games and all that, it became more about the father than it did the son. Not saying that's what happened here with LeBron James, but I'm saying it happens even without the fame and the money and everything else. It happens. It's reality. Sometimes people get lost in their excitement over their son doing well. They start living their lives through their children without, sitting back, letting the children. You can live vicariously through your kids, but vicariously doesn't mean involvement. Like, it's like you're not living vicariously if you're actually doing it with them. That's not vicariously. Big Smoke, what's up? Yeah, Bronny's in he's in stable condition right now. But they of course they ran batteries to test, so he's out of real, danger right now. But what caused that, they got to try to figure that out. So hopefully they figure that out because you don't want another situation like if this would have went another way, you know, God forbid. I prayed for that. I prayed for him this morning. Prayed for Savannah. I prayed for all of them except for LeBron in this situation. Yes, he's in stable condition now. He's not in ICU anymore. Oh, thanks, Eric. I'm a disgrace for praying for Bronny and his family. Thank you. I probably should have prayed for LeBron, but in hindsight, I was upset with him when I first heard the news, so I didn't pray for him because I felt he put a lot of stress and pressure on Bronny. So when I found out Bronny had went through cardiac arrest, first thing went through my mind is the stress and the pressure that guy put on him. So I was mad at LeBron. So yeah, I didn't pray for him. Probably should have prayed that he got his mind right. Hopefully, this incident would be a, a life lesson. I think God sent him a lesson and said, "Hey, take the rings off this kid. You doing too much, and this is the sign that you're doing too much, LeBron. This is the sign by God to say you're pushing him too hard." Big Smoke, how would I owe you $10? Eric must be one of those parents I was just talking about. Or he got on his LeBron James underwear or something. I don't know. I don't, I don't know what's going on with Eric. Now, people in here keep talking jab, it's fake news and all this. All I know is I've called legitimate people in this business that would know. And they said he collapsed and he was taken in for to ICU. I don't think they would stoop this low at all. Not like this. It's a serious situation. No, it isn't fake news. Not for a little bit. Mm-hmm. All right, just pray for Bronny, his family. If y'all want to play for LeBron, pray for him. But that's it, man. Um, I'm gonna get out of here and get back to finishing the work I was doing earlier.